Welcome everybody.
Hello.
It's 10 Paces.
Everybody.
Another Thursday night stream. We're gonna get big with it. Joined by Tasha Clown.
Yeah, TCM, baby. Turner Classic Movies. Go on.
TCM on the FM. Bringing it to ya. Big style.
Big style. And on that note, it's a big ol' she-her for me, please. Big style.
Absolutely. Big she, big her, all caps.
That's all I wanted. That's all I've ever wanted. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I see. I'm sorry. I'm figuring out, like, gribble depth. When people do those really detailed eyes that feel, like, wild in their fill and shape. You know what I mean?
Big gribble depth?
Gribble depth. I don't know what it's called. It's probably just like impressionism without perhaps a specific name.
I don't know what a gribble is.
Scribble! Scribble, like a doodly doodly do.
Okay, see.
You just never stop.
Discord is cutting out the SC, so it sounded like you were saying like
Ibble.
like Dale Gribble depth.
Scribble depth? Can you hear it now?
No, I was still saying Gribble depth.
I'm still getting that gribble depth. You know, like playing with light and shit, though, by just adding line on line on line.
Yeah. Have you like looked up much traditional kind of like hatching work, or?
Not really. I've never really done any study of art because being bad at things makes me like extremely sad a lot of the time.
Unfortunately, that's the only way to learn. And I think that not like giving into that aversion of like wanting to do yourself and not wanting to draw from people who have already done this and might be able to help you, it's a bad habit. It's a bad habit I carried for way too much of my life. I'm like,
Yeah,
no,
I mean-
I had this kind of, you know, I'm gonna be the next champion kind of syndrome.
Yeah, my art will be so singular that any inspiration that I've drawn from anyone will be accidental at best.
But that's just wholeheartedly untrue. And you're only gonna learn and benefit from drawing from, you know, the people who have figured it out before you.
As a rule, I find creatives tend to is worth doing. It's good.
Because you're taking what's already been done and you're able to build up on it.
I got an idea for a fan.
Yeah. Is it salacious?
No. Hunter x Hunter has animal people.
Yeah.
What if you were, without spoiling Hunter x Hunter for anybody watching, what if you were to take the Ninja Turtles and Splinter and make them those animal people and trying to be the first task hunters?
Oh, I wonder what each of their nins would be. But I guess
I
the
know,
Hunter exam wouldn't
immediately.
include nins.
Immediately you wonder. I think it would, because it's like if you've played Mass Effect, when you're like going to be the first human Spectre and it's all under hush hush. Like, I think just Leo for the first story, and he intentionally fails at some late point to go back and take his brothers next time, you know?
But I mean, like, if we're... Technically, Nin wasn't introduced until way after that, but... You know, he kind of...
They have Hunter
The
exams.
writer kind of retconned it. Oh, you mean, so knowing everything we know now?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not fully caught up. I just finished the anime recently. So I wouldn't start on it until I'm caught up on canon, but also obviously it would need to shift some anyway. But the idea would be they're not beasts, they're people, and part of that is going to show how they can be hunters, which worse things than them have been hunters.
That sounds neat.
Yeah, right? Not to be too big-headed, but yeah.
I've always viewed, I don't know, I think I used to look down on fanfic, but I'm like, no, it's such an important and helpful exercise, much in the way, like, fan art is. I mean, like, I've bought so much fan art in my days. I don't know why I was so averse to it. Maybe just because of the culture I was introduced to it in.
Yeah, I think it's mostly culture. I think it comes down to the fact that we think of mainly story and dialogue as the things one person makes good. And then character design, we just know it's good. We don't think character designer blank blank. Most of the time we think, oh, the character design is really good. I mean the common person, obviously. I mean, there are people who know the name of everybody that worked on everything. But I don't think there's anything wrong with loving film that much personally. I love a passion for an artistic medium.
Oh, absolutely.
So I've talked to you about Die Dark. Do you remember? Can you name any significant part of the series at all?
Series?
Die Dark. It's a manga.
Oh, see, I thought you said Donnie Darko.
Oh, Die Dark.
No, I'm not familiar.
Do you know Dorohedoro?
Yes, I love Dorohedoro.
It's Kyu Yamashida's next series after that ended. In the U.S., it's only been published up to, I think, 6. It's about a boy named Zaha Sanko, who he's like 16, 17 or something. You know, he's anime adult, and his bones, if you steal them, will grant any wish in the universe, supposedly. So everyone wants to kill him if they know who he is.
That sounds so cool, especially knowing like the creator behind it.
Oh, it gets like I never actually saw or read Dorohedoro. I wanted to read it because I'm not a huge fan of 3D animation in anime style. But Die Dark is amazing. It's extremely lighthearted, and it's also like one of the most disgustingly morbid anime I've ever seen. It's in like desiccated death space. To give you an idea, everything's made of like clay for the most part, and powered by magic light. And the money is bones.
Money is bones. Ah, like I think I should leave.
Yes, I was waiting for you to say the bones are their money. I mean, the bones are their money. Ooh.
But so are the worms.
Yeah. That's where they leave their house at night to take their bones from you. But anyway, so yeah, that is how it sort of works. Like the main character has some good gear. He has a backpack that is a sentient being, but robotic. He has really good gear. Like his bones are great, yes, but he doesn't want them to be great. That's actually a huge problem. He has a sentient backpack robot. Backpacks are called Paggies in this universe. P-A-G-G-Y. Don't know why. But his is alive, and it becomes it's got a skull head, and it talks, and it's just like a living robot that I guess takes care of him. We've only seen as far back as middle school and stuff like that. And then, so the other character is his Paggy, his dark Paggy, and he's also got a Flesh of Darkness, which is like a Venom suit. And he's got an Axe of Darkness, which is a bone that grows, a blade of darkness that causes human flesh to just simply melt if you cut the person. And that's how he collects all of his bones.
That's convenient.
Yeah, wearing the suit and being whatever weird thing he is, he's able to enter like a world of darkness that most humans are like turned inside out. You have to go through a black hole. And
Are you spitified?
he goes and meets some twink there who like he trades human bones, or spaceling is what they're called. Spaceling bones for gear, better space gear. It's really cool. One last thing. They get a ship. The ship's intelligence is named, the ship's called the Moja, or Moha, I have no idea how they want to pronounce it, but M-O-J-A, and it's a dog skull with a clay body. And so is the ship. The ship is also just this big floating dog skull with a clay body.
Oh,
And
that sounds so cool.
he's walking them around the ship and he's like, this is just my avatar. He's like, every once in a while I have to charge, and the cord goes into my butt. And then there's a panel where all three of them, the backpack, the kid, and the robot dog thing, are going, they go, your butt? Or he goes, haha, your butt? And he goes, haha, yeah, my butt. And then the backpack goes, ha ha ha. Like, it's just all three of them stopping to laugh that he plugs it into his butt. It's a great
That's
series.
also how I feel as the audience.
Yeah, could not recommend it more. The only
That
thing
sounds
is
so cool.
it's an extremely literary read in that you really need to be able to work with little context. They just throw you in, they explain nothing, they don't slowly introduce the jargon. They want you to feel out of place though, clearly, and you do. It's really cool.
I love stories that do that a whole lot. Like, that's what I loved a lot about Dune, is that it doesn't give you a whole lot of, like, it gives you context in small little blurbs. Like, it doesn't spend pages and pages kind of giving you a backstory. You get, like, these little paragraphs about everything that led up to why the society operates the way it does. But it's very characters in the moment focus.
Yeah. Just active exposition is something you prefer.
And I love, kind of being, like, having a little onus put on me to understand the world. I don't want it all, like, just laid out in front of me, because pacing-wise, that's just funky.
No, there's never a time for that. And honestly, like, not everyone is going to care about that stuff. Like, most people don't know all of the lore of any universe that they engage with.
Well, they're fake fans.
I don't think there's too much of that going on anymore. It's all weirder, worse stuff now than sort of you're not a real fan. Though of course that does still happen. It's just like refreshing almost at this point, instead of like you don't really like it, you just think it's a cool logo or whatever. I'd prefer that.
Back to your roots.
I don't know. For example, the most annoying thing that ever happened to me, and I hope that person is not listening, out of all the people in the universe, was someone just pointed to me. They weren't someone I didn't know. I knew them like by name at a party, and said, Hot Topic stole that shirt. And that is a bad way to bring it up. It's not really a polite thing. Like, I think I'm a reasonable, not a reasonable, but like an agreeable enough person that it's not such a wrong foot that there's no turning back or anything. But he then explains to me like an entire internet drama, and like I don't know, and I was not going to, I don't know, return the shirt or anything. So
yeah, I mean, I know there's a whole issue with Hot Topic. They had a whole thing with stealing artists' work because they had the license to sell them, and then apparently included a clause in their hiring policy because they knew they would attract a bunch of young, aspiring artists, that they got rights to all of their work. But I mean, in that moment, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, it's not
take
that
off your shirt at the party for
serious. Yeah.
Are you gonna take off your shirt at the party like as a statement of solidarity, or
forever, man? Yeah. Take your shirt off forever. Take your shirt off forever. It's getting hot in here.
So support unions.
I'm a genius. Um, I've been rewatching the television season of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Did you ever watch that?
I did. I thought it was really fun. It's like
I loved it.
I still think it, like, obviously it's not going to capture the same kind of magic that the initial series did, but they did a lot of really cool stuff with, the property, considering they had to translate it to a television show.
Yeah, I really don't. Most of the complaints I have little time for in terms of, I don't know. Most of them seem kind of immaterial. The songs aren't as good. That makes sense. But the videos, the original videos are kind of extended music videos. Like Thriller's longer outside of songs than any of the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared.
Yeah, but I mean, it was meant to be it was YouTube videos. They came out years and years apart.
Mm-hmm. Oh no, it's not something I'm complaining about exactly. It's just they're saying, oh, the songs aren't good enough. And it's like, well, it's just because they're focused on the fact that they can do other things.
They're finally in that space that they talked about in the original videos.
Right. All of the characters are funnier and more interesting in the TV series. Now, the episodes, that's a hard thing to rank or whatever, compare. I do think the original series has this chaotic, like lightning in a bottle quality that nothing can capture. It has to be a different lightning in a different bottle next time.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Like, they are literally doing the thing they get, kind of pastiched in the YouTube series.
Yeah,
it makes the end of the YouTube series such a perfect lead into it actually being a TV show.
Well, there's a couple of interesting things about it. I've always felt that the literal truth of that series has never been the focus in that. It was always meant as an allegory for the unreliable way all innocent children have to learn about the world,
Mm-hmm. And just the unreliability of media. It was very media focused.
Yeah. There was the sets and stuff with Red Guy, of course, and like dates and whatnot. But even just looking at it at its face, sort of in a Lord of the Flies sense, it is always like the episode on death, for example. There are so many little things that the full series is able to do that shorts would never have been able to do, and it's not like pushing the envelope. It's just time and budget and even set size. But when the mourners show up in the death episode of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, just a bunch of strangers in bodysuits like the Red Guy is, with these huge sad heads, led by like this tissue box, and just like every platitude you've ever heard about somebody, experience, like spoken to somebody experiencing grief, and they kind of just want them to go. They have no idea who they are, and they're like, yeah, we should leave, and they give them some food and they just leave, and it is an uncanny like reproduction of what it's like to experience a loss and have to deal with other people dealing with experiencing loss, and
right.
It's so smart in that it's multi-layered, because like what mattered in the first series wasn't so much that Yellow Guy's dad had a TV as it was that like there's an agenda anytime you're speaking to a child, or you generally speaking when a child's being spoken to, I should say, there's a great deal of agenda. And I think that comes across so well. The reason, like, people have analyzed forever and ever, green is not a creative color because of this and that. But ultimately what it does come down to is that, like, you're wrong and there's not a good reason and I don't need to explain it. Because that is how you're spoken to. You go to a public school when they're dealing with 30 kids at a time. Like, you can't make that tree yellow. The sun is yellow. Is something you might have been told as a kid. And then, like, they just walk away out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And none of that makes sense.
No, and it just kind of a careless impact that happens upon your life because the adult doesn't really necessarily understand the weight they're putting on a child's brain when this is one of 6 things the child knows now.
Has ever known, yeah. Well, that's the interesting thing too. I think the show conveys really well, and that's where the media thing you were talking about comes in the things that really resonated with me. Everyone that speaks to a child, generally speaking, is also performing. You know what I mean? The reason that they are being sung at and talked over is because that is how adults. I'm not the reason, but you know what I mean. That's what you see. That's what I often see is having struggled in every possible type of system. They're not. They're saying a script to you, and it does not matter what you're trying to interject.
Right, because it's a one-way conversation.
Mm-hmm. You could never have anything to say that would matter. And that's the thing that I love about the series is how well and how funny it is in conveying the casual cruelty of being like, kid, shut up. This is how clouds are made. Shut the fuck up, sit down, 2 + 2 = 4, And that's the situation most kids are in.
I'm going to work now.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the work episode.
The work episode's really, really good. That's one that really struck me quite poignantly as well. I haven't finished it again. I do like a lot of the stuff when it gets real weird at the end.
Have they gone on? Because when I watched it was only 6 episodes or something.
I think there's 8, so probably you finished it. I don't know if you saw a weird lady. I'll just leave it at that.
I'll have to check back because I had to watch it through a weird site that allowed me to watch BBC shit with ads.
It's all on YouTube. There's a million. Because Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is the name of a free site or a free series. They don't crack down very much on Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, all uploaded at once compilations. So they're not looking with their bots or whatever as much into the fact that they're throwing an entire Sky News series or Sky Network series on there too. It's like
they're not
get Three's Company full episodes.
Universal or Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Even when you get Three's Company full episode, they don't really care what's there. When they notice it, when a human notices it, they'll get rid of it. And the reason it's up is because somebody did something their bots don't notice.
Yeah, I mean, there's too much content to keep track of for human eyes.
Yeah, moderation's a really interesting thing when you talk about the scale of the internet and the way that social media has become such an appendage to society that it's hard to argue it's something that should be declared fully a right. Certainly countries have already.
Social media being a right?
Not social media specifically, but the internet, excuse me.
Yeah, I would say it needs to be treated more like a utility, but I don't want it to be... I guess it already is monopolized quite the same way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is already a utility.
But that's a stateside kind of view on it. Because the way the U.S. does things is that they, subcontract out to private companies to provide these things and then give them, benefits and to set up this infrastructure. But then they have, free reign. But internets already do that with each other.
Exactly. It's hard. It's another thing that the incentive structures that we have in place are not particularly well suited to grappling with. You see this immediately with internet piracy because people tried to make a deal out of taping radio stations and playing them, but no one could possibly really give a shit about that, and internet piracy, they were like, we're going to take down women, children, men. You know, we're going to go up inside you. This is the only case where we support abortion. We're going to go up inside you and get that kid. We know he didn't do it, but you're going to suffer more this way. It was intense. Like so many lives ruined over like the 10,000 place in, you know, Bruce Springsteen's bank account.
And it wasn't even Bruce Springsteen. It would have been like the record label.
Well, yeah, not Bruce Springsteen in particular. Not particularly Bruce Springsteen, though.
But
I would say Tom
Metallica,
Rush is the working
absolutely.
man. Oh, Metallica, yeah, Lars Ulrich was famously all about it. There were lots of people that were like,
they shut down Napster.
You don't need to listen to my music if you're poor.
Rich people only. Hot commodity.
Like, the problem isn't that people aren't paying for your music. The problem is that you need to be paid for your music or you will end up on the street.
It's the redirection of, you know, it's the redirection of blame.
Yeah, it's a vital thing when the infrastructure sort of in place is intentionally set up against you to a certain degree. I mean, you know, I am not at all comparing one type of bigotry to another or anything like that, but my point is just that, like, it's what they do to everyone. You know, something about your life is someone else's fault, and the systems and incentive structures in place have nothing to do with it. Shut up. You know?
Yeah. It's redirection to keep eyes off, you know, what's actually going on.
And I mean, that's the thing, obviously, people ask how, I don't know, like, farmers are a bad example, always, because how a teacher even could vote, well, I think, you know, Republican.
Farmers are a good example. I see what you're saying. Sorry.
Farmers are a bad example of somebody you wouldn't want. Like a gas station worker wouldn't vote. People don't know how they can vote Republican, but the thing is, that's why the two-party system is a bit of an issue, and it's why these hot button political issues have always been what are pushed. You know, as long as we've had sort of the political theater system we've had, it's been okay, sure, you'd like your life to get better, and obviously the only way that will happen is if somebody like stops all of the things that are set up against anyone that isn't already rich. But on the other hand, consider that your poor may end up in your neighborhood if you don't alienate them. And like, that is enough. That's enough for people. I lived across from a halfway house the moment I moved out of my parents' house, and they were the least of my troubles in that entire fucking town.
Oh, absolutely. Because you were a person who dared to be an individual in a small town, and there was law enforcement with little else to do.
Right. Yeah, like we were in this top floor apartment, and I'd come out, and you know, there'd just be a lot of people whose clothes weren't nice smoking cigarettes out at front at once, and I didn't know what it was until I asked, and they were saying it was a halfway house. And you know, I was worried. I grew up in a conservative household. I was really worried about it for a bit, but like, they kept their distance. They didn't, you know, look at anybody across the way. They're trying to fix shit.
Yeah, they've all got their own stuff going on.
Yeah, most people do, of course, but you know, I mean, I understand fear. I understand it intimately, but at the end of the day, it's not fair for you to treat others like what you're afraid of is definitely true.
Exactly.
Well, let's talk about something fun.
Yeah. Beyblades.
I've never played Beyblades.
I had a lot of fun with those, or at least like the, you know, the dollar store knockoff as a middle school kid. I did eventually own a bona fide Beyblade, but that was a rare treat. Because, yeah, like...
Those things weren't cheap, they were premium toys.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they
Like
had die-cast
Bionicles.
parts. Oh, we were way into Bionicles. I was lucky that my older brother was also into them. So we ended up collecting all but one between the two of us. And between
Yeah,
both
because
of our birthdays.
Bionicles was nearly like it was like Warhammer for kids. It was on the scale of kids, but it was like, here's your $25 single figure.
Well, I mean, initially, like the little the Toas were like
Oh, for
maybe
sure.
$10 a can.
Those were cool. Once they got popular, though, it was they were so expensive.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And then they just kept expounding on it.
And I mean, they got pretty cool, but again, not everyone can afford those prices. You look at Lego,
Hmm.
and it's like, I guess at some point the market just, if you don't do anything about anything, they just start charging people more because they know someone could get a Chinese knockoff that might not be as good, and they just don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you see that all the time, especially with Lego. Though it's like, okay, well, $200 for this because it's shaped like a Star Wars, and yeah, you can get it online for $30 from China, but you wouldn't do that. Remember what all those
Oh.
things we told you about how bad it is? And I mean, in all fairness, like working conditions in China are terrible, and there's all kinds of horrible things to say about that. But like fucking Lego, what are you doing? Come on, that's so much money.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it now is paying for those licensing deals. And I do miss like the Lego original properties. Like they had the Rock
Oh,
Raiders, they had the Mars mission or whatever. I thought they were doing some really fun stuff with just like original properties because they're like, yeah, we can't get our hands on Indiana Jones or like Star Wars is one of the early ones.
yeah, they've had Star Wars for a long time. But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like they had kind of a parody Indiana Jones, um, but did some fun stuff with it. They didn't have like Jurassic Park or Marvel. So
Right.
they would come up with these fun little scenarios, and they would make like full sets and games around them and stuff. Like I think Rock Raiders was one of my favorite sets growing up.
Well, without musing on it too much further, because it will lead us down a familiar path. That's because they had those and the expensive ones, because the expensive ones were like for well-paid adults with programming jobs.
Oh, just like today.
Yeah. Even then, like the big ones, like the Lego Death Star, when it came out, was like $200, and that was like $2,000 in today's money.
Yeah. I'll build it out of
always a lot.
red, blue, and yellow bricks myself.
The only thing that works in the favor of people in terms of like inflationist stuff is just that psychologically some numbers are bad, and hitting them is going to hurt the economy a little bit, no matter what. When they get to $6 gas somewhere in the US, that makes people do stuff. And so just these arbitrary numbers, whatever else we do, to make your life worse and our money.
Yeah, I mean, that's because it's a number that's in your average driver's face constantly.
Yeah, and I mean,
the
gas
consistency
is
of the
huge,
number,
of course.
but like it doesn't come up as much in say groceries, unless you're buying the exact same things every time you go to the grocery store.
Which is exactly why eggs and milk always get they're so expensive right now comments. And it's like, they're expensive, yeah, but have you looked at meat? Unbranded meat lately? Because unbranded meat costs as much as, a night out used to for me, man.
Yeah, that was one of my driving forces into going more plant-based. And then I'm like, oh, this is way healthier for me.
Cool.
But like, I'm not vegetarian by any stretch, but I'm not out making meat a part of every meal anymore because it's just so damn expensive.
It does cost a lot. And I mean, that's one of the reasons those packaged like prepackaged meals work so well for the companies, and of course the overworked, but that's a given, I guess. It's just that, like, there's meat in those. You don't have to pay for a separate block of meat. You then have to make ready for a bunch of different meals that might go bad, and you paid $20 for it, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's the real problem. People talk about eating healthy, and like people are so quick to just say calories in, calories out. That's all that matters, as though motivation itself isn't something that isn't being counted for. And like people use this to discount the idea that food deserts matter. It's like, well, they can buy, you know, rice, can't they? So they should stop eating fast food. And it's like, well, have you considered they're a single mother with 3 kids? Have you considered that they work 2 jobs? Like, there are people out there that cannot get healthy right now unless something changes in their life, especially in these food deserts where fresh food is rarer and more expensive because there's just not a call for it.
There was a town in Arizona, like, a week or 2 ago where a Walmart shut down. And so now they're in a new food desert because they have Walmart cut out the other small businesses, and now they have nobody importing groceries.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem in small towns, you know, truly small towns, because even like some of our local haunts have been right off a highway, and you can get, if you have to go 20 minutes for groceries, you go 20 minutes for groceries. But like, yeah, in the really small towns where you're really out in the middle of nowhere, and like the gas station used to be where you bought your milk, but then Walmart came, and now Walmart's gone, and there is no gas station. You know, that's on the highway now.
Exactly.
But you could talk about it from any angle. It's just that, you know, we're not thinking enough about the people. Just any random individual human being.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they wanted to live well, they should have been born rich.
Yeah,
Idiots.
It's bizarre to see. You know, the Ebenezer Scrooge thing. Like, some of these horrible words that he says, he's famous for being heartless. Like, this is what people just say to me on a regular basis. It's like, yeah, but okay, but sure. It's like, well, can you imagine how many people would continue to eat and have a roof over their head and not do anything? You know, it's always, and it's like, it's just not a nightmare for me when I think of that. I'm sorry. I hope lots of children and their parents that don't have food just get it magically without doing any work.
They don't deserve to eat because they're not a good worker.
Yeah.
Like, there was the senator who came out, like, or didn't come out, but, like, I think this was sometime last year, there was a right-leaning senator who's speaking out against abortion. And they're like, how are we going to get American workers? Right. And the fact that they used workers instead of people as citizens was so telling.
Now, I'm not defending this is true. Sorry. Your point is true. But, unfortunately, workers is the parlance. Like, that's not a new thing. That's not a slip of the tongue. That is just how they talk.
Yeah.
Like, I do agree it's grisly, but it's not like he made the mistake of slipping up. Like, that's just how they talk about it. We need able male bodies. They have to stay male. They have to have always been male. And that is all that matters to me. Keep pumping them out.
I'm going to get my iron. I'm going to get my Reardon steel.
You know. It's it requires a good deal of human suffering to do things the way we do them, and it's silly because, I mean, before it then causes people to suffer because they're not winning the game we're playing either. You know what I mean? Like, getting the resources we hoard does so much harm, and then we choose to not even give them to our own people. We keep them for ourselves, freeze-dried in our doomsday bunker.
When this all ends, it'll be us. It'll be us.
Yep. Anybody with $1 billion has that same fetish Nick Cannon does, and they're just not telling people.
Of having a bunch of kids?
Yeah, impregnating women and having them conceive the child. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I need to pass on my genes. I've been told this by whatever god or whatever he believes in.
No, I didn't know there was anything religious involved. I just thought
Well, it might not be religious.
he was just wildly irresponsible.
No, it's like a pointed thing, I think. Maybe I heard wrong. But I believe that's what...
We don't have... Tell Aaron to look this up. I know Aaron's probably busy with something, but tell him to look this up. Just yell at him.
No, Nick Cannon's here. It's fine. Nick! Nick! Is it because you want to have kids?
Are you fucking because it's a religious thing?
Or is it a religious
thing? Is it a church thing?
Primarily.
Oh, okay.
It's like Mormons. You gotta get those souls. You gotta get baby bodies for those souls. They're in line, man.
Since he's over there, ask him, does he still like doing drumline stuff? Because that was fun.
You still do drumline? You blew up the building.
The drumline building?
Yeah, the drumline building.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah. So anyway, while I Google Nick Cannon fetish, you will the lovely people.
Oh, I absolutely will. Welcome to 10 Paces, where we air our grievances, but more importantly, we draw. Twice weekly. I guess under some circles that could be called bi-weekly, but I'm gonna say twice weekly. God willing and the creep don't rise. And tonight, I felt like going big, so I'm just gonna draw a big desert colossus, because I thought that'd be fun. But if you have prompts you'd like to see done, be it on a showdown, or maybe on one of these Chiller Thursday streams, get in the Dead Man Saloon. Links posted below on Twitch. If you can't get there, that's not on me. But
that's pretty good. Oh,
we're happy to hear from you.
Nice. You pulled up.
Thank you.
It was expertly done, though. Very smooth.
Thank you. Yeah, I've tried to establish myself as the people's heel, but I've also got that can't be bad in video games feeling.
And I shall crush the aristocracy.
Well, AAAB.
Ain't nothing but a bitch thing.
Yeah, some of those letters were in there.
I was drawing a sneer, and I couldn't have felt more confident at that moment. If you've ever drawn a sneer and been like, baby. Also, fuck you. Oops.
Yeah, I drew a burning cop car, and now I'm just, like, unstoppable.
I drew an NFT, and now I'm unfuckable.
Unfuckable token.
That's pretty good.
I agree.
I think some of them are a little bit.
Some of those apes giving you those spongy eyes.
Yeah, I'm not bored of those apes, is what I'm saying. I'm quite titillated by the apes still.
You hit up Seth Green. He'll give you the lowdown. Snoop, maybe?
Snoop?
Yeah. Big ape heads.
Now, Snoop, he got a bored ape, or are we talking red apes?
He got a bored ape. He was part of the Bored Ape cruise and had his own bored ape made.
Right. So
and then he performed at the Bored Ape cruise and had a mascot of his ape in the crowd during his set, which I think was like a song.
That's good. I wish I was as good at getting paid as Snoop Dogg was.
Same here. Like, that is literally the American dream.
Uh-huh. Snoop Dogg is the only person who ever has or ever will fulfill the American dream of just people go, hey, you want to be on Serial? You want to have $1 million forever dollars and be on Serial right now? And you're like, okay, yeah, sure. And they're like, cool. Oh, would you like $1 billion forever dollars and you want to appear on with Martha Stewart in jail? It's like, yeah, man, whatever. Keep it coming.
And gets to keep on, like, I guess none of it's so time consuming that he can't keep doing what he loves. Because he still does really cool shit.
Mm-hmm. He does do a lot of stuff, and honestly, like, his features should be so much weaker than they are, because he just dishes them out.
Mm-hmm.
There are so few songs.
Comes from the era of skill.
Yeah.
Like, any feature he's on in, like, Gorillaz, he absolutely kills.
Oh, yeah. You see the real strength of the things Snoop can pull off in that long intro.
Mm-hmm.
Where he's just to, like, nothing.
Thinking of Melancholy Beach? Or,
oh, yeah, not the intro. But
Plastic Beach, rather.
The first song, Plastic Beach, yeah. Welcome to the world of Plastic Beach.
Yeah.
That one. Really good. That's actually one of my favorite albums. All time.
Same here. It's certainly my favorite Gorillaz album. And I really love a lot of the stuff they put out in the past couple of years, even.
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry. Song Machine? Killer.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what happened there. I feel like they named it Song Machine. They thought they would do 2 or 3, and they got so well received that people just, like, they just kept doing featured songs with people, you know?
I don't know what happened either. I thought it was kind of like a feature heavy album for that reason. Kind of like how They Might Be Giants did Song a Week. They're just like, let's see how many of these we can do.
Yeah, I think it from what I'm seeing, just my own estimation, I would imagine they probably started it and then decided we have enough good stuff for an album already, so let's see who else we can get.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like on, you know, like Spotify and stuff as an album standalone. You know, it's not like a YouTube playlist exclusively. It's so cool.
Right, but I mean, like, a lot of that has to do with how things have to be released on platforms.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I just mean that, like, it looked like it was going to be a small thing. It looked like it was going to be a couple of singles. And so you'd have, like, Song Machine Side A, Song Machine Side B, in between it, like 6 songs maybe. And instead it's a full-size, full nuts album. Like, as Gorillaz as ever. Pac-Man with Schoolboy Q is one of their best songs.
Oh, Pac-Man was a banger.
Killer 2D verse, killer Schoolboy Q verse. They play off of each other really well. The song drops with a super nice drop from Schoolboy Q. I don't even remember the lyrics, and then also the Pac-Man death sound. Have you listened to much Aesop Rock? Do you like him?
I love Aesop Rock. Like, at all of these parties we've had in the past years, every time I hear Aesop Rock, I'm like, is this Bus Driver?
Yeah, but you often think it's Bus Driver.
Yeah, and then I finally gave Aesop Rock the listen he absolutely deserves.
Did you listen to his newest album at all?
Not his newest, no.
Integrated Tech Solutions? It's really good. It's I love his older era. He's far more quirky and autobiographical. Older Aesop. His newer stuff. Because he's so quirky and autobiographical. And before it was a little more, and I don't mean that it's a bad thing at all, because it's not. A little more Rage Against the Machine-y, a little more, you know, the world is not fair and I am tough. And that's good. I don't think he does it nearly as well as he does. Like, he has that song Shrunk that's just about how hard it is for him to be going through therapy, like just the process of going through therapy. And it's a great song. And I think it's a lot better than the stuff he did before his hiatus, personally. I don't know. I feel like the skills there, the personality's more real. He was doing that nasal voice for an album or two at the beginning, too, like a fake sort of, you out see me when I come through.
Yeah.
And he does it good, don't get me wrong. It sounds like I'm making fun of it.
I really love that deep kind of, like that artistic flow, where like the meter kind of ebbs and flows. Like Mike Eagle does it really well. Open Mike Eagle.
Okay. I don't think I know him.
He's amazing. He does like what he calls art house rap, and takes a lot of inspiration from They Might Be Giants.
I see.
And has made some beautiful beats from them, or from samples from them. But like he's
chopped them up.
He'll do these songs where it's just like, it's almost like a poetry read, where the meter's just kind of like, it doesn't stay on tempo necessarily, but it's just got a really good flow to it. It feels really nice.
Well, you know, that's often considered by people who are more into hip-hop and more into rap, the actual measure of skill over even complicated flows, over even fast rap, just to be the ability to drop a convincing sparse or slow flow that is on the right beats and feels connected to the ear, especially if it's off the top of the head. But in any case, like, I mean, I think one of the reasons that Tyler, the Creator, aside from him being one of the last people in music to be doing the like shock, one of the last mainstream people, the shock stuff, the I'm gonna murder someone and I'm gonna crawl up inside them and then this and then that, you know, and I mean, all those songs I think are still really good personally, but that's a hot topic of discussion. My point is though, that he had a tendency to be like, he has an amazing line, and the beat is just doop, doop, doop in his first album, and he says, "All you fucking lames don't have to like me. The devil doesn't wear Prada. I'm clearly in a fucking white tee," and he just drops it so perfectly. It's really good, and there's like a minimal beat, and he doesn't do it quick. The first album he does, Bastard, is so angry and raw, and it's back when he was like extremely depressed, which he hasn't been for a long time. It's interesting. I'm a huge Tyler, the Creator fan. Sorry.
Oh, same. Like, Igor dropped and I listened to that. I was driving between Columbia and St. Louis regularly, and that was my drive playlist for a while. So I'm like, I gotta dissect this album, and this is the time I have to do it.
You make my earthquake. Well, for me, his best album is Flower Boy. I adore Flower Boy. Did you listen to Flower Boy before you listened to Igor? Did you get into Tyler?
I didn't listen to any of his albums all the way through, but there was a lot of singles that turned me on to Tyler, and then I did listen to a lot of his, you know, kind of, I guess, B-sides from Flower Boy through mutual friends. I say mutual friends as though I have mutual friends with Tyler. No, mutual friends of ours.
Mutual friends of you and me. I understood that, but yeah, I heard a lot of Tyler's early stuff. They're mutual friends. He was mad at all those kids on the forums. I remember. Yeah, Flower Boy was really good because it was the first time he had lyrics that explicitly stated that he was interested in men, that he was getting with men, and that he wasn't in the closet anymore. He never said, "I'm gay." He never made an announcement. In fact, people criticized him, saying he was like stolen valoring being gay, or that he intended to go, haha, it's a troll, just because he had dropped the F slur a lot. He talked about a lot of violence against women. Honestly, he didn't talk nearly about hurting people who are, you know, LGBT as much as most rappers do. Like Eminem, people talk about him hating. I'll tell you what he hated. I can't say, but he's got a lyric that answers that question. I'm a big fan of his too, actually, and I know aside from the context of the time being somewhat different, in that like it was just the worst thing to be called. And it's still bad, of course, because it was the worst thing to be called because it was like, as you know, everyone beats them up and they're gross. But you know, it was something that the hip hop community held on to longer than everyone else because it was like losing a slur. Do you realize that?
Oh, that must be tough.
I'm sorry. For hip hop, it is harder than other communities. But
well, yeah, for like an angry music.
Yeah, I don't mean that like, oh, what would we do without the N-word? I just mean that, like, yes, exactly. It's indignant, it's angry. You are saying the most version of the thing you're saying.
It's punk rock.
Yeah. Have you played Disco Elysium?
Not yet. I might download it at work and maybe fuck off a little harder.
Highly recommend it. Do you plan on playing it with voice acting?
Probably not.
Probably not. Okay.
If that's an option,
that's how I prefer it.
Because I can.
Oh no! It originally didn't have voice acting. It didn't have all the voice things voiced.
If I can do it at work covertly, then I'll have to play it without.
It's perfect. Make sure you pause it. There is an actual time limit in that game. Now, I think it's based on how many actions and story scenes you go through. But just in case, I wouldn't leave it dwindling around.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll certainly look into that.
We were talking about slurs, though, and I think the strongest sort of source of reclamation I'd ever seen, I think probably just the first time I saw somebody arguing for F-slur reclamation, was it was sort of implicit in its inclusion in Disco Elysium. There's a dude who's very punk rock. You find his jacket and it says piss F-slur in like one word, and it's like just like the ultimate charisma item. And it's like really punk rock or whatever. Like that was the intent behind it, you know, is that he's just the worst, he's all the bad stuff. And I just realized
I know a bunch of cool ass ska band folks who would wear that exact thing.
Exactly, like it's understood. However, they do definitely censor it. It's the only thing censored in Disco Elysium is the F-slur. And I think the decision was because there is a local boy who is so genuinely homophobic for such an extended period of time to you and your detective partner that I think they thought we need to censor this one thing just to soften the blow of the bullying of this child the moment you see him. Because he's like throwing rocks at a dead body and he's like, hey, you gay? You gay over there? Is that why you're trying to ask me questions? Or no, you're gay for him. You know, classic children on crank.
Yeah, I mean, it's only gays ask questions.
He goes down that alley a couple of times. You know, it's when you gain control of the conversation, the best way is to completely start brushing that off. Like, you know, it doesn't work anymore, man. Though you can shoot the kid.
Like high school.
That is one of the endings, is when he calls you the slur, you can just immediately shoot him. You do know the game's about a cop, right? Sorry, I meant to tell you. Yeah, you're a cop in that game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can get off pretty scot-free with that.
I think I've told you this before, but let me save you a little bit of time, too. If the main character, his name's Harry, if Harry threatens to take his life, he's gonna mean it. So don't like keep going down that dialogue.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about this whenever we were talking about like those kind of dialogue options that aren't always true. Like what's written doesn't always translate to what happens.
Right. And you tried to end. You wanted to end it all. Wanted to end this conversation and all of it.
I wanted to end this entire conversation.
That's
Bye.
right. Toe to tip. But yeah, like if some stats are high enough, they'll force you into things. Like there are stats that associate with pride or your own feeling of authority. And if you are leveling that stat so that when you use authority against someone, they feel the weight of it, it also stops you from allowing disrespect unless you fail the check rather than succeed it with that stat.
Oh, so you're kind of bound by how you build up?
Every single stat is essentially mental. They all have characteristics. Imagine, if you will,
I
you have
will.
a D&D party and the characters' names are happy, angry, sad, and I don't know,
Dwarf
another
campaign.
one. And like, not only do you need to call Happy over when you want to smile, but you need to make sure he likes you too. And that's sort of how Disco Elysium works. Your brain filing cabinet was dumped on the floor by you. You did it. And so you're just kind of deciding what to put back in there. Like a lot of the game is the game will be like, hold on now. You said Rockstar Cop. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's what you are? Like the game stops and says that. And if you say yes, like you acquire a class feature thingy that you can choose to level up by having it equipped while you do missions that says Rockstar Cop. And if you finish it, you'll get permanent buffs and debuffs that aren't shown to you until it's finished. That make you more likely to act that way as a cop who sees himself as a rock star.
That sounds rad.
It's an amazing game. I've never wanted to tell people too much about it, but you just have. People have to play it. It's been so many years.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard only good things about it. Well, good things, and then it can also be kind of heavy in the way you've kind of illustrated here.
Oh yeah, now it's to me largely gut-bustingly hilarious, and I don't mean like he kills himself. Like I'm not that kind of person really, but like you are the fundamental expression of fucking up. Like you are the platonic ideal of the biggest loser in the world, and so that's super funny and super sad. And like that's true of Harry in universe too, and he relies on that a little bit.
Bumble your way
Lots
to
of
the
people
top.
find him funny or take pity on him for him to get what he wants, right? So being a drunk has actually served him because they'll think he's a funny guy, they'll be impressed by the stupid shit he does, or they'll think this guy is disgusting and pathetic. Please get away. Yeah, no, I didn't see him go. You know what I mean? You do have to become a type of cop, I will warn you. Not literally, you are already a cop in the literal sense. But that cop profile has to be chosen by the end of the game. There's a couple of things. I don't know if you can be a good cop. I'll tell you the kind of cop I was when the game ended.
Trick question!
I was a sorry cop.
ACAB.
I was a sorry cop. I got it because of how often I apologized while doing police work.
Huh.
And
what
it's
a
like,
world to live in. A world of fantasy.
And it's essentially you internalize that self-loathing and failure, so you get certain benefits for internalizing that, but also negatives. Same as the Rockstar Cop. Like you're a lot more untouchable. You might be more likely to really blow up. You know, you'll like probably lose a lot of mental stability or something. Those are stats, obviously.
Sounds like such a good game.
It's amazing. It's basically a point and click and a visual novel.
I really love games that, you know, really take kind of esoteric traits and video game them into meaningful ways.
Yep, like I said, your stats will want things out of you. If you've made yourself super strong, it also means the part of you that is, a high school gym coach gets stronger too. And unless that high school gym coach side of you fails, you're gonna do something that is athletic, loudmouthed, and stinky pretty soon. And you want to hope it fails. But if it doesn't fail, then maybe you embarrass yourself. It's really strange, but you actually do have like a really good idea of what you're doing not long into the game. Like with these abstract mechanics, because they don't explain any of this. Like I've explained it far more than they ever will.
Well, I'm gonna dive into it, and I'll get back to you. I've been looking for a new fix.
Yeah, please let me know.
And
if I think you're going to get a kick out of being aggressively communist. That's the other thing they won't let you not take a stance on, except for the mocking stance of centrist. You have to decide your politics. You have to decide the kind of cop you are, and there's another thing I don't remember what it is.
Oh yeah, I can't be a dirty cop. It feels bad.
Dirty
to
cop's
play
one
bad.
of them.
Like I understand the draw for some people to really just kind of see where these roads go, but I'm just like, no, this is me. I gotta play as I am.
Oh, Travis,
I get a visceral feeling.
Do you want to fix Harry?
Not necessarily. I'll torch his car.
You can't torch his car. You're him.
Who better to torch his car?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll assume if something happens to Harry's car, it is because you hate cops.
We'll assume it's because of, circumstances. Cops lead dangerous lives.
We'll assume it's because we'll assume it's because of your hatred of cops that happens to that policeman's vehicle.
Oh, am I a Carrie?
A character in the story, for sure.
No, a Carrie like Stephen King.
Oh, like open carry.
Am I an open carry? I am openly psychic.
Yeah, I know her. She used to be concealed carry, but she's a lot happier now.
Hold on, that was pretty cool. Excellent did a thing,
I know. Oh,
that's where. Oh, that looks so neat. I just made a little
Travis, let me. Oh, never mind. I can't spitball you that out in the open like that. Oh my god, I almost ruined everyone's Christmas present.
The Christmas is months away.
That's right. But it's not months away.
Oh, geez, now I'm on pins and needles.
Pin Pace's 2 anniversary.
That's right. 2 paces down, baby. Monday night.
Now,
are you looking forward to it as much as I am?
Oh, absolutely. Probably a tiny bit more. I don't have to draw, and I've always wanted to host stuff.
That's right, folks. We'll be live on camera, drawing some of the spiciest, most salacious drawings you've seen to date.
Yep. I think it's going to put Pitch's Spider-Man to shame. And I will say, I'm going to be, I'm going to be hosting.
I know you're a J. Jonah Jameson fan, so that's a big statement.
I honestly like most of what the actor does.
J.K. Simmons?
Yeah, I think
he's
worst
just kidding.
work is probably Yellow M&M.
That's, that's still a high-low bar.
It's pretty stellar. He does exist. They do exist. Commercial had J.K. Simmons in it, and that is his worst role, in my opinion.
Yeah, he hasn't had a bad role, but I've never seen him. I can't say I've seen every one of his roles.
I haven't seen Whiplash, but I don't need to know he's good in it.
Yeah. Are you dragging or rushing?
I don't know, man. I have not.
That's
seen
the only
Whiplash.
line I know from the movie. I haven't seen it either.
I just had to give you as much attitude as possible. God, man, I don't know. I have not seen this film.
Are you dragging or rushing? And then I throw the entire 35mm film can at you.
No, that can't.
That
movie's
I haven't
about
seen
film
it.
canisters?
I couldn't tell you.
Hold on, what is the movie even called? I forget. Whiplash. Oh, that's that movie where
What, a car
where
accident
the
or
guy
something?
from the X-Men. Yeah, I was gonna say that's where the guy from the X-Men films car accidents, and he's weird about it. I've seen that one.
Oh no, that was that was
Which
the
X-Men
Clash.
was it?
Was it
Clash?
Cyclops?
No. Oh, it was Nightcrawler.
Oh. That's how we got the
Nightcrawler.
name.
Simon Petrikov.
Yeah, and wait, isn't Nightcrawler the one about like another movie about a guy with a camera filming things kind of illicitly?
No.
Or about like a
You're thinking of the character.
paparazzi?
No, you're thinking of the character. The X-Man Nightcrawler goes to the scenes of crashes and gets whiplash. I mean, he doesn't get whiplash, he records the whiplash. That he sees
he's one of the slow-mo guys.
And yes, exactly. He's one of Gavin's good friends. And he... Sorry, that one actually... I don't like to laugh at my own jokes on it, generally. I couldn't continue. He's one of Gavin's good friends. And I don't remember who we're even talking about now.
Well, that seems like a good place as any to leave off on a Thursday night. I drew a big rock mesa colossus, and I had a lot of fun with it.
I drew several obese people, and one really muscular guy, and a snake with sort of Bart Simpson hair, and several aliens, and Uncle Fester.
Snake with Bart hair. Isn't that like a mythological being? Like a Bartzalisk?
I think it's oh, come on. I've got this.
Hakabart?
It's an Eat My Shortsinoko. Eat My Suchinorchko.
And on that, don't have a cow, man.